Who is the master that makes the grass green? The simplicity of this question belies its profundity. Because if you can answer this question in all its implications, then I have nothing more to say to you. But considering that I traveled all this way and spent all this money, I think I'll indulge myself anyway. Objectivity, defined as the ability to impersonally, purely, and completely know the fundamental constituents of reality, is our modern mythology, the illusion that needs to be overcome if we as a race are going to evolve to the next level of existence. And in the same way that your parents cruelly and harshly disabused you of the notion of Santa Claus so that you could become mature, functioning adults, I am here to disabuse you of the notion that what you perceive is an objective reality. The reason for this is because we all have a frame of reference, or a perspective out of which we emerge and which mediates our contact with the world. I call this frame of reference our reality tunnel. Our reality tunnel is the superimposed collection of filters that mediates our contact with the world. The most direct and intimate contact we have comes through our experience, direct experience of the world. And this comes through the sensory apparatus of our body. But what's become clear in recent history, and perhaps it's been clear all along, is that our senses only give us a very limited portion of the potential stimuli that exist in external reality. So take our eyes, for example. Our eyes are sensitive only to light in the narrow frequency range from 430,000 gigahertz to 750,000 gigahertz. Whereas bees, on the other hand, are able to see up into the ultraviolet spectrum and are sensitive to the polarization of light. Now, what's true of the limitations of our eyes is also true of the limitations of all our senses, our ears, our smell, our taste, and our sense of touch. Other animals far outweigh our ability to perceive the spectrum of potential stimuli. But more interestingly, there are other animals with different sensory apparatus altogether. Snakes, for example, are able to sense the heat emitted by their prey. Sharks and eels, on the other hand, can detect minute changes in the electrical field in their environment. Now, the realities that they construct from their experience is very different than our own. Even so, even if our sensory apparatus only grant us access to, let's say, 10% of potential stimuli, a generous estimation on my part, even so, moment to moment we are inundated with millions upon millions of signals vying for our attention. What is given to us is a sensible flux. So on top of the physiological filter of our direct experience, we have a psychological filter which we use to navigate the veritable blooming, buzzing confusion of experience. We use the faculty of selective attention in order to attend to the stimuli that are most important at hand, the ones that can be ignored, and we ignore the stimuli which are directly threatening to our beliefs. So what is given to us is in experience, what is given to us is a block of marble, and using the faculty of selective attention, we each individually carve out our own statue of the world. This is why you may have noticed that the happy man seems to live in a happy world, the sad man seems to live in a sad world, the angry man seems to live in an angry world. This is due to the faculty of selective attention. On top of this, we have what is called an ideological filter, which is the flimsiest and yet the most cherished filter of all. Many of us have degrees for this filter. The ideological filter takes the raw datum of experience and throws it into a conceptual framework, a kind of intellectual scaffolding which gestalts our experience according to a preconceived or predetermined notion of ideas, collection of ideas. Now, if it were merely an act of layering these filters upon one another, our experience would be extremely disjointed, uneven, cracked, with a lot of holes in it. A kind of ontological Swiss cheese, if you may. But our experience isn't like that. Our experience is seamless, it's unified, it's continuous. This is because the mind is not just a passive receptacle of information. There's also a creative force which projects outwards onto the world, filling those gaps, connecting those cracks, and making a unified experience out of everything. And if you don't think the mind has creative powers that it projects onto the world, then ask yourself where the wonderful, often strange and unfamiliar vistas of your dreams seem to come from. What I'm trying to get at is that reality tunnels are like tools. They're like tools or pieces of instruments or pieces of software. They are ways of engaging with the world. And every tool that you use engages with a specific portion of reality, a specific dimension, and it gives you a specific cross-section of reality. So, by analogy, let's look at computers. We have software. The software gives us programs, and we have different programs which allow us to deal with different types of data in different ways. So we have audio programs, visual programs, programs to deal with words, graphs, so forth and so on. To say that one of these tools or one of these programs is more objective or more true than another is as absurd as saying the barometer is more objective than the voltmeter, or the ruler is more objective than the measuring cup. Because what these tools do is they give you a specific cross-section of reality. And limiting ourselves to a single tool, a single discipline, or a single reality tunnel is like trying to build a house with only a hammer. It leads to viewing every problem as a nail. There is no pure viewing. There is no objective look of reality. All you have are looks that are predetermined by the instrument that is doing the viewing. And the most fundamental of those instruments is our human nervous system, our reality tunnel. So even though we can never have an objective, complete picture of reality, we can swap lenses. We can employ a host of different tools, instruments, and reality tunnels in order to form a more dynamic, a multidimensional, and a multifaceted understanding of reality. I'm thinking here of the metaphor of the two monks standing at the different ends of the elephant. They're both touching it, they're both blind, and they're touching and describing the elephant, and each one gives a different answer. This is the same as my conception of using different tools and reality tunnels. You get different parts and different pieces of this elephant, but you can't ever get it all at once. But our reality tunnels are pretty deceiving because they are self-fulfilling prophecies. They are feedback loops and self-sustaining engines, a kind of epistemological perpetual motion device. Because from the billions of signals of external reality, our nervous system selects the signals that fit its preconceived notion of reality and ignores the other signals. And when it doesn't ignore these signals, we're called neurotic and we're sent to a psychologist. But when this happens, when a person's reality tunnel is confused with reality itself, then all pliability, all porousness and flexibility of their engagement with reality is lost. The reality tunnel begins to ossify, and dogma, arrogance, and closed-mindedness take over. And this, I believe, is the source of all negativity in the world. Because if you look at it, all racism, all sexism, any hate of any kind is a kind of confusion between the person's reality tunnel and reality itself, because they have taken the signals that fit their preconceived notion, their preconceived hate, while ignoring all other signals. And they have confused their picture of reality for reality itself so that they believe they have the true, final, and complete perspective. And when this happens, when your reality tunnel becomes ossified and concretized, you are no longer the master of your existence, but you become the slave to your reality tunnel. And forgetting that we created our reality tunnels and that we have an active role to play leaves us absurdly imprisoned within them, much like a spider who has become entangled and trapped in its own web. A comedic tragedy on a cosmic scale. But giving up objectivity isn't easy either. When you undermine objectivity, you enter what is known, or what I call, chapel perilous. Chapel perilous is an ontological funhouse, a corridor of carnival mirrors, false doors, hidden traps, and mystic wonders. It's where your beliefs are questioned and undermined, and there are only two exits to chapel perilous. You can exit through the entrance. You can walk in, see what's in front of you, see the demons, and walk right back out the door you came in, never facing them, never dealing with them, never incorporating them, and remain just as closed-minded, just as dogmatic, and just as certain of your reality as you were when you entered. Or you can go through chapel perilous. You can deal with everything. You can fight the demons through a kind of forward escape, and you can come out the other end. And if you do that, then all sense of certainty, all sense of finality and dogma is replaced with a kind of tentative, more provisional, more humble, more uncertain, but also more compassionate outlook. When you undermine objectivity, the foundation of your philosophy quakes beneath your feet, because you are freed into a radical responsibility. You are free to see the world differently. You are free to promote hate, violence, greed, and separation, or you are free to promote love, compassion, empathy, and community. The choice is yours, if, and only if, you realize the choice exists. So you must ask yourself, who is the master that makes the grass green? Thank you.